Hello everyone, and many thanks for your interest. One of the biggest questions that we have to find answers to is how are we going to cope with the energy demands of the planet? Earth population is growing and growing and growing, and in the next 10 years there will be billions of people living on Earth. How on earth are we going to supply so many people with electricity or with energy? I mean, right now we depend on electricity, and electricity is produced by exploiting fossil fuels, oil, nuclear fission, and by other methods like wind turbine, waves, gas. I mean, fossil fuels and nuclear fission are most widely used to satisfy the energy demands of the planet, but in the case of fossil fuels, they're not going to last forever. In the next 10-15 years, Earth will be depleted of fossil fuels, and we cannot continue using nuclear fission, breaking down tritium and deuterium, because it's poisoning the planet. It's not safe, and if there is a leakage, it can cause permanent damage to the planet. So we really need to look for other methods that are environmentally friendly and long-lasting. So a few decades ago we commissioned NASA to do some research and try to find other methods. So, through lunar orbiters we managed to do some spectroscopy of the moon and map out the areas where we could find helium-3. Helium-3 was determined to be the gas that could solve the energy crisis. So we map out the moon and determine those areas of the moon where there were high concentrations of titanium dioxide, which is associated with helium-3. So where there is titanium dioxide, there is a lot of helium-3, and helium-3 is abundant on the moon regolith, particularly on the media, on the basaltic moon areas. The maps that we go out after the spectroscopy shown that there were high concentrations of titanium dioxide on Mea Tranquillitatis and Oceanus Procellarum. So there comes 1969, and we sent Apollo 11 to get some samples and determine or confirm that there was that much titanium dioxide and helium-3 on the moon. So this was confirmed, and the question is, why have we not gone back to the moon since? Knowing that the opportunity was there to solve Earth energy crisis. I mean, the amounts of helium-3 on Earth, on the moon, can supply Earth with energy for the next 1,000 years. One single trip, 20 tons that are brought back of helium-3, can supply the energy demands of a whole Earth city for a whole year. That's absolutely amazing. So why we haven't gone back to the moon and continue and realize this? Why we haven't done it? That's a big question. And I think by now the answer to that question. The moon, folks, is already inhabited by 3 or 4 different races, including a human colony, and there is a mining complex established on the moon. So basically we've been warned off, we're not allowed, we have been prohibited to go back, because the level of humans advancement right now is not at the level that is permitted within a galactic federation. legislation. We need to be peaceful, we need to show goodwill, and we're not doing that on our own planet. I mean, back in the 60s and 50s, we knew what we had to do because we have a lot of experience doing mining on Earth. We knew that titanium dioxide was highly concentrated on tranquillitis and ocean plusionarum. We knew that what we had to do was to, build some bricks in there and heat up the titanium dioxide up to 700 degrees Celsius to release the gas, the helium-3, and as byproducts we would have the water, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, which would allow us to have a self-sustained colony of 20-30 miners, because you could create a artificial atmosphere. You have oxygen, you could set up domes or areas where you can live and grow. We would have put the infrastructure in place to to heat up the titanium dioxide during daytime using solar panels that we could have built from silicon, which is plentiful on the moon. And then during night time we cool it down to condense it into liquid, and then package the liquid up and transport it back to Earth, to the shuttle. But we were not allowed to go back. I mean, at some point, the survival of the planet is on the line if we don't go for these alternative energy sources. Is the survival of the planet on the line? So at some point we need to negotiate with galactic federations that are controlling the moon mining complex and say to them, we come in peace, we really need to guarantee that the human race survives, so we need your help. Let us trade, let us mine some areas of the moon and get this energy source that we will need pretty soon, because otherwise we have to go somewhere else. But we don't have the technology right now. NASA doesn't have the technology. I mean, obviously the hidden government do have it, and they're already doing space travel, but the NASA and the public in general and private agencies in general, they don't have that technology. So using chemical rockets, we cannot go anywhere. I mean, the payload is too big to go anywhere else. So we really need to find that helium-3, that energy source that will enable us to travel closer to the speed of light and reach other civilizations and trade with them and flourish. We do need to do that. We're running out of time, and our closest celestial body, the moon, is there for a purpose. It is too big to be our moon. It's very unusual for a moon of the size of this moon to be a satellite, a natural satellite. But it's there for a purpose, and one of those purposes is got the energy source that we need to survive, and it's the approach that we had to take to make sure that we have access to that resource. It's an approach that we had to take, so we probably have to have a federation, a space federation on Earth that can negotiate and go in peace and have a voice within the Galactic Federation, and have a forum with them and try to reach some agreement. I mean, this is this is a concept that we have to have an open mind to understand it, but it does make sense. Thanks for watching. Bye.